Yes, that's right, folks. You read the title of this video correctly. Dice Masters has its first ever alternative win con, and I'm going to talk about it right now. So stick around and let's get into it. Yes, hello, welcome. It's Chris here from the Ministry of Dice, and I'm back again today with another one of my video presentation doobly-doos. And in today's video, as I mentioned in the intro just there right now, I am going to be focusing on the first ever card in Dice Masters we've seen that offers an alternative win condition. That's right. Now, just yesterday, as a time of recording, DMArmada did a stream on his YouTube channel. He had Jimmy O'Brien from Wizkids on as a guest, and in this stream, they revealed for the very first time the brand new Dark Phoenix Saga Organised play kit. Now, this Organised play kit has got 14 cards in it in total, and if you want to go see more about those cards, then go check out Steve's video on his channel. I'll put a link in the description down below. Or you can go and read my first gut instinct reaction to them on BritRoller6.com. Again, I'll put a link in the description down below. And there's so much to say about all 14 of these cards, but one card in particular, well, technically two, because it's the same card with two art options, caught my eye, really got my juices flowing. I've spent 24 hours now just thinking about ways of brewing with it. I just can't get it out of my mind. It was a sleepless night just going over this card again and again and again, and this card is Hellfire Gala. Here it is. What a beauty. There's the two different art options. We've got a Captain Britain art option and a Jean Grey art option there, and this card has dominated my thoughts for the last day. Right, okay, let me tell you a little bit about why this card has got me so excited and why it's dominated my thoughts so much for the last 24 hours. Aside from the fact that I'm obviously a hyperactive Dice Masters fanatic with nothing better to fill his headspace with. But it ticks so many boxes for me, and I'm going to talk you through those boxes that it's ticking. And the first thing I wanted to point out is look at that artwork. The table presence that these cards are going to have when they're in use is just boggling to me. Now, those pieces of artwork, they're variant covers from X titles that were involved in the Hellfire Gala crossover event. It's by a guy called David Nakayama, and I'm pretty sure, I should have checked before I started recording, but I'm pretty sure the Captain Britain is from the Excalibur and the Jean Grey is from the X-Men title. And these were from the Hellfire Gala event back in, I want to say 2019, but it might have been 2020. And this was just a big comic book event that involved all the X titles. And I'm going to circle back round to that in a minute, actually, because that's another one of my tick boxes ticked. But the artwork's tremendous, just really stands out, really pops off the card. I think they're a great choice, and I like the idea that they've rolled it into a kind of fashion magazine cover there, which was a part of the promotional campaign for the Hellfire Gala event. They were talking about like red carpet and gala dresses and stuff, so it's just really thematic, and I'm going to return to that in a moment. But more importantly, let's talk about the game text, because that's the headline news. This is an alternative win condition. It's a basic action with a 6 cost. And let me just bring the game text up on screen there now. Roll 2 dice from your bag. Each player fields 3 sidekick dice from their use pile. If there are 16 or more dice in the field zone, win the game. Win the game. So we've got a basic action here that if you can orchestrate a situation where your field zone and your opponent's field zone brings the dice total over a threshold of 16, you're going to win the game. And not only that, it gives you a couple of extra bits of game text to help you on your journey. You can roll 2 dice from your bag. So in theory, if you're any good at bag management, which I'm not, but if you're any good at bag management, you could draw and roll 2 characters and field them. You can then pluck a total of up to 6 sidekicks, from 3 from your use pile and 3 from your opponent's use pile, which gets you 50% of the way there. You can have 8 characters in the field just from the cards' game effects themselves, let alone anything else that you've been up to leading up to that point or that you're going to do in the rest of your turn. So an alternative win condition that's just got so much brewing opportunity attached to it, and I'll drill down on that a little bit more in a second. So now I've shown you the game text, I just kind of wanted to circle back round to the idea that it's a super themey card, because not only is the artwork really themey and on point with the Hellfire Gala idea, but so is that game text. The Hellfire Gala storyline across all those different X titles was all about Emma Frost and the Hellfire Company, which is like one of the corporate arms of the island nation of Krakoa, where all the mutants are now living, held this gala in order to shore up political support and influence with all these different superhero groups, but also worldwide governments. They had representatives from worldwide governments. And the fact that the card includes both your field zone and your opponent's field zone is super themey and important, because at the Hellfire Gala they invited their enemies as well. Doctor Doom got an invitation. Governments that weren't supportive of the new island nation of Krakoa were invited and sent representatives. So this idea of like bringing everyone together and making the party, the gala, a success is what wins you the game is so subtly connected to the themes of that comic book crossover event that I'm just speechlessly impressed by not only the fact that the game text is just boom, mind-blowing, but also the fact that it's so subtly tied in to the events of the comic book source material that have inspired the cards. And that just, well, I think I'm on record. It's well known that I love it when the game of Dice Masters really, really speaks to the source material theme. So the card looks great. It's got a really fascinating, intriguing game text that's a first for the game of Dice Masters. It's super themey. It's checking boxes all over the place. But ultimately, the key thing about this card that I love is it's a card you can brew around. The Hellfire Gala can be a win condition, it can be a pivot win condition, and it gives you the opportunity, certainly in the short term after it just comes out, to be creative and play around. And I can't wait to see what comes to the forefront as some options to making it a winning combo. I've got some thoughts, by the way. Shall I share them? Yes, let's do that. So the first thing to think about is the fact that it's a 6-cost basic action. So it's quite expensive. 6 is expensive. It's not insurmountable, but you're going to need some method of bringing that cost down. And your first instinct might be to say, well, there's discount globals in the game. We've got the Dark Phoenix cards in the Dark Phoenix Saga set. All the rarities have got the global where you can pay a bolt, KO a character and get the next die you purchase at a discount of 2. There's also Thor in the Infinity Gauntlet set, where you can, a couple of the Thors, I don't think all the rarities have got it, but you can pay a bolt and get the next action die you purchase at a discount of 2. So these are ways of bringing down the cost. That Thor, incidentally, it could be a main win condition, and Hellfire Gala could be a secondary win con, because the Hellfire Gala game text triggers its fielding sidekicks from the use pile, so it will fire off the damage from Thor. As you know, she could have a double hander there. That said, though, I'm wary of the globals, because with it being a basic action and part of the communal card pool, I'm not all that inclined to bring globals to the team that will make it just as easy for my opponent to buy that win condition, the Hellfire Gala, as it is for me. So I was thinking about what are some of the ways that I can discount it that are in my control that my opponent won't have access to. For example, there's Forge, Intuitive Genius from the X-Force team pack. He's got an Energized game text that when his Energized goes off, he makes action dice purchases 2 less. Saw him use quite a bit a little while ago for Godcatcher teams, actually. You've got the Human Warlock, the Delver of Secrets from Trouble in Waterdeep. When she's active, she gives a discount of 1 to actions. Just basic actions. And then you've got in the upcoming Dark Phoenix Saga set the Magic, the 3-cost mask. There's got the when fielded trigger. When she's fielded, she makes your next action die purchase a discount of 1 too. So these are all ways of discounting Hellfire Club that you control, that you've got access to, that your opponent doesn't do. And then, do you know what? If your opponent's going to bring one of those globals to help you out, then even better. And I'll return to that idea in a minute. But I mean, let's face it, Dark Phoenix Global is going to be everywhere. I'm not going to put it on teams because I'm just going to factor in that everyone else is going to bring it. You know what I mean? What's also nice about this is that the globals aren't going to help you contribute towards your threshold of 16 characters in the field, whereas using characters, especially ones like the Human Warlock that's a while active, means that you're putting dice in the field. Or your Forge, once you've used the Energize, you could field him and he's in the field. Or, Magic, obviously it's a when fielded trigger. So I like the idea of using character dice to discount, because they're also then going to contribute to the long game of firing off the Hellfire Gala and winning the game. So yeah, they're going to help you get over that threshold, which I think is interesting. So on the subject of that threshold of 16 characters, that's your kind of next challenge. Once you figured out how you can buy that 6-cost basic action for cheaper than your opponent and get that win con up and running quicker than they can, with it being a basic action card, of course, the next step is to move yourself over that threshold of 16 characters. And your opponent, if you're running that win condition, your opponent is going to be thinking very carefully about what they put in the field and trying to play as lean as possible to restrict your options and ability to get that number over 16. So you need to take control of that. You need ways and means of getting characters out in the field that you are in control of. And certainly sidekicks and sidekick makers is something that people are going to be looking at very closely to use with this card. There's plenty of options out there. You know, you've got Collector Global from Infinity Gauntlet, there's a sidekick maker. You've got Atlantis from the Justice campaign box that makes sidekicks. We've seen the spoiler for the Batman card in the upcoming Kryptonite Crisis set. There's got a double-powered, super-powered sidekick maker. Or you've got cards like Lita from WWE that lets you turn your just rolled sidekicks into psychic dice into psychic characters, or Recruit on cards like the Spider-Man from the Play at Home kit, the Infinity Gauntlet Play at Home kit. So there's plenty of ways and means of using that resource of 8 sidekicks that you start the game with and maximising them and turning them into characters. Again, I'm a little wary of the globals because I'm placing a communal win condition out into the game and then handing them communal globals that will help contribute towards that. I'm a little bit cagey about. You'd certainly have to make sure that you're in a position to control what's going on there, and I'll come back to that in just a second. But the psychic resource is definitely a way of moving forward. You're going to have to be on your absolute best bag management game, though, because the Hellfire Gala itself allows you to grab 3 sidekicks from your used pile and put them in the field, as well as 3 sidekicks from your opponent's used pile and put them in their field. So your timing has got to be just right. Of course, there's Instant War as well, another basic action where you can fire it off and you both draw the sidekicks out your bag and put them in the field, which is something to think about, although that's your 2 basic action slots then gone, and both your basic action slots are contributing towards a communal win condition that you've put into the game. So I don't know about Instant War, but I was also thinking about characters like that, Gnarl Zibrandis from the D&D, the Trouble in Waterdeep set. So he's got all his characters get a token. They give you a token when he comes out into the field. One of them's a deadly token. One of them's like a protective game text where the token can take damage instead of him. And tokens are an interesting idea for use with Hellfire Gala because they can't be re-rolled or spun out. So they can sit and camp in the field as you work your way towards that grand total of 16, which then takes me to something like the Master Mold, which is just a token-making machine. It's expensive in its own right, but it's a token-making machine. And so thinking about pivot win conditions, you've got your Master Mold start just slamming Sentinels out in the field because you're fielding it and attacking with it and KOing it to get more Sentinels and just filling the field with Sentinel after Sentinel. And that's a win condition potential in its own right, but then you've got the Hellfire Gala as a secondary win con, as a backup. Or flip it the other way around, Hellfire Gala, and making Sentinels with your Master Mold is win condition 1 and your Master Mold is pivot win condition. I don't know. But tokens, I was thinking about tokens because these are cards that then can then make you new dice to put in the field that don't draw upon limited resources like your number of sidekicks. And they've got a little bit of built-in extra protection by the rules because they can't be spun out, they can't be re-rolled, which is something I think notable and worth exploring. So I tell you what, seeing as how all structure's gone out the window and this video has just descended now into flights of fancy brewing ideas, one character that flitted through my head was the rare Adam Warlock from the Infinity Gauntlet set. So he's got a game text that says when he's KO'd, you take the dice that's KO'd him and put it on the Adam Warlock character card, and then when you refield Adam Warlock, it gives the dice back to your opponent. So it's almost like a little field zone dice depository that could maybe hold one of your opponent's characters until you're ready to give it back. Maybe, I don't know, perhaps something in that with like a force attack global or a force block global that's going to make your opponent KO Adam Warlock and let you grab hold of one of their dice and hold on to it until you're ready to put it back in their field. I don't know. There's a community challenge. So if anyone watching this thinks Either tell me if I'm bobbins and that's a dumb idea, which it probably is, but if you think there's something in that, then let me know. There's a brewing challenge. See if you can make Hellfire Gala and Adam Warlock work. I don't know why, it was just something that sprung into my head, so there's an interesting idea for you all. So I mentioned a couple of times about my wariness around globals, about bringing either globals myself or the fact that my opponent will have globals that are usable to have a run at the Hellfire Gala for themselves and take that win condition out from under you. And so I was thinking about control, and the Dark Phoenix Saga set has definitely got some control that can make your opponent think twice about having a go at the Hellfire Gala, or certainly punish them and allow you to restrict their options so that you can keep it for yourself as your own win condition and not let them have a go at it. There's a Jean Grey. Well, there's a couple of Jean Greys that have global hate, but I'm thinking of the uncommon specifically. So when Jean Grey is active and in the field with another sidekick, she increases the global cost by 1 generic energy, which we know from experience with cards like Oracle back in the day can be quite a challenge to manage around and ramp around. It's also nice because you're putting 2 characters, Jean Grey and a sidekick character dice in the field, contributing towards your threshold of 16. And of course, there's also the Lilandra, the super rare Lilandra Majestrix, which is the reprint of the Jinzo game text, and she requires your opponent to pay 2 life to use a global. So you could almost sit back and say, well, if you want a Dark Phoenix and Thor global and collect a global sidekicks into the field, you go for it at your heart's content, but bear in mind that you're killing yourself every time you do it, and they could near enough kill themselves trying to get close to the threshold of 16 while you just sit back and let your control do some work for you. Now, I'm not fully fleshed out a control team around Hellfire Gala yet, but I think there's something there. There's something in control teams that are just big old oppressive walls of game texts that stop your opponent's options left, right and centre while you pick up a Hellfire Gala and move forward with it for yourself. So get a Drax out, get a Lilandra out, just really narrow your opponent's options bit by bit by bit, using cards like Human Warlock, Delver of Secrets, or Forge to help you get your Hellfire Gala and tie it down. So there's definitely something in this as a win condition that could appeal to control players, for sure. Yeah, 100% on board with that. And there we go. I'm all done. Just really wanted to demonstrate my kind of 4th tick box around the opportunity to brew around the card. I think the fact that we've got our first alternative win condition in the game is super, super exciting. Please do drop into the comments down below. Let me know what you think about alternative win conditions, this specific game text and alternative win conditions. Are my brewing ideas bobbins? I mean, these are all just first gut instinct reactions. There's probably better ideas out there. Or are you not a fan? Let me know whether you're not a fan as well. I'd be interested in knowing. While you're down there, of course, give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. It takes just a second for you, but it means so much for me and lets me know that I'm on the right tracks with what I'm putting out there. And if you're not already subscribed, please do make sure you subscribe to the channel. But yeah, all that said and done, I've been Chris from the Ministry of Dice, and I'll catch you on the Ministry of Dice podcast over at BritRoller6.com or here on our YouTube channel sometime soon. Thanks for watching.